Some people can fall apart internally and still look completely calm on the outside. They laugh normally, reply normally, go through the day like everyone else. But when emotion finally reaches the eyes, nothing happens. No tears, no release, just silence. And after a while, some people stop asking, "Why am I so emotional?" and start wondering why they can't feel anything anymore. You usually notice it in small moments first. Someone talks about something painful, and you know you're supposed to feel something. But emotionally, there's almost no reaction. A person can lose relationships, go through stress, become mentally exhausted, and still sit there, feeling strangely numb. Not because they don't care, not because they're cold, but because somewhere along the way, expressing emotions stopped feeling safe. And eventually, even crying starts feeling like a distant act. Most people think crying only comes from sadness, but psychologically, crying is also connected to emotional safety. The brain has to believe that it's safe to let go, safe to be vulnerable, safe to lose control for a moment. And some people never learn that, especially people who grew up hiding emotions, staying strong, or silently struggling with stress for far too long. Over time, the brain slowly begins suppressing emotional release automatically, not consciously, silently, until emotional shutdown starts feeling normal. This is why some people seem emotionally distant, even when they care deeply. They struggle to open up, struggle to cry, struggle to explain what they feel. Sometimes they sit alone, trying to force emotion out, and nothing comes. No release, just pressure, trapped inside the body. And the strange part is, many of them still feel overwhelmed internally. The emotion never disappeared. It simply stopped reaching the surface. And after years of this, some people begin mistaking emotional numbness for personality. They tell themselves, maybe I'm just cold. Maybe I don't feel things deeply. Maybe something is wrong with me. But suppressing emotions usually doesn't remove pain. It hides it. The brain simply learns how to disconnect from emotions before they become too overwhelming. Psychologists often connect emotional shutdown to chronic stress, emotional suppression, and long-term psychological overload. When the nervous system stays under pressure for too long, the brain sometimes reduces emotional responsiveness as a survival mechanism, because feeling everything this intensely all the time would become exhausting. So instead, the mind slowly lowers emotional excess itself, not to destroy emotion, but to survive it. Maybe that's why some people never cry in front of others, not because they feel nothing, but because their emotions became buried under years of pressure, control, exhaustion, or silence. And eventually, the brain stops asking, how do I express this? And starts asking, how do I keep functioning? Maybe the saddest part is this: most emotionally numb people still feel everything internally. The stress, the pressure, the loneliness. But after suppressing emotions for too long, their mind no longer knows how to release them naturally. So instead of crying, they stay quiet. Instead of breaking down, they keep functioning. And eventually, people start calling them strong, without realizing how emotionally exhausted they actually are. And maybe some people never cry in front of others because they spent too much of their life convincing themselves they had to survive everything alone.